Like everything else in an RV, the roof also needs a little bit of TLC. Most RV roofs are pretty simple. They're either TPO or EPDM for the most part. There are some other variants out there with PVC and such. We're going to focus on TPO, which is the most common, and is also what we have and what Grand Design uses.
It has a 12-year warranty. It's been UV treated already. It's white, so it's going to reflect any sunlight off of your unit, be a little bit more efficient, and then it doesn't chalk down the side of your unit.
But do check with your manufacturer if you're not sure what kind of roof you have, and also to find out what chemicals or cleaners and sealants are appropriate for your roof. Roof maintenance is actually fairly simple. Just a matter of cleaning and sealing for the most part. We're going to cover both. The last time our roof was cleaned though was about 2 years ago, so it's been a while and it's due. The easiest way to clean and maintain your roof is to pay somebody to do it. We're not going to do that today. We're going to DIY it because it's really not that difficult. It just takes some time, and of course you got to get everything up on the roof, so if you're not comfortable with that, don't attempt it. Before I ever start cleaning, I want to check my gutters. Most RVs have a gutter along the edge, and it's just like a home gutter, except it's about that big instead of being a nice big wide thing. The reason I want to do that is because none of these gutters are in one solid piece. They have seams in between them, and those seams tend to start leaking over time, and I don't want the cleaners that we're going to use, which today is going to be mostly Simple Green, I don't want that to run down on the sides of the RV. I prefer it to run down the gutters and off one of the four corners. I want to show you a little bit of a repair that I did to our gutters, and I'm going to test them today. You might want to check your gutters the day before in case they have to be resealed. That way when you do clean your roof, it has a nice clean straight shot. Of course you want to clean out anything in the gutters like pine needles and stuff like that. So the runoff from this AC comes down here, hits the gutter, and instead of making it all the way to the back or front, this seal here, it leaks out on here, and of course just drains down on the slide. So I have an idea about how to fix this. So I've got it all cleaned out. I just used some Simple Green and towels, cleaned it out, taped it off. You'll see that where the gutters come together, where they butt up against each other in the segments, ours had some basic silicone sealant in there, and it was getting old and flaking and getting out of there. So I cleaned all of that out, and then I taped off an area, and I taped off a section underneath, and then I sprayed some Flex Seal in there, just a tiny little can of clear Flex Seal. Up here on this front one, there's quite a bit more of a gap there. So I'm going to put some tape on the bottom side down underneath and do the same thing up here. And that seems to have done the trick, but we're going to find out right now because I'm going to run some water and see how well we get flow off of here, or if it's just going to run off onto the sides. Either way, it's not the end of the world. I can just rinse the sides off as I go. I've got my hose up here. You can see there's a little bit of tape still left on here for when it was rolled up. And I am just going to turn on the water here. Here's part of the problem. It gets a little bit of flow going and kicks out over the edge. So high flow, no go. We'll just have to deal with it, I guess. Let's see what I get over here. There's the problem. Flow up over the edge anyway. So these gutters are pretty pointless. It looks like a lot of it is running down here per design, but as you can see, it's maxed out. There's also a little bit of junk in there. So you can see these gutters, when there's a lower flow like this going on, they do a good job. The size of the gutter, since they're so shallow, they're not super effective when you're talking about large volumes of water. I hadn't really considered that, but they needed to be sealed anyway, so now they're done. But I am going to have to keep an eye on any of the Simple Green going off the sides. Make sure I get plenty of water on there to rinse it off, because I don't want that chemical eating into our paint. Before I jump into the cleaning part, you might think, okay, why bother? Why clean the roof? And that's a valid question, because these things don't really need to be cleaned a lot. Maybe once a year is plenty. You know, if it's a little bit dirty and it's not completely gross with lots of mold and mildew, you may not need to worry about it. That's fine. But as far as why I keep ours clean is A, it's going to last longer. Anytime you keep something clean and neat, it's going to last longer. B, cleaner means more reflective, means less heat. On that same note of being more reflective, these days a lot of solar panels can catch light on the top or the bottom from reflection. So more reflective roof means more efficient solar panels. A lot of you have asked about us doing solar. We haven't done it yet. We've been fine just using the generator when we boondock, but we haven't boondocked a lot. We might do more next year, and we might do solar next year, so we'll see. Additionally, a clean roof is easier to inspect and find problems. If you've got a filthy roof, it's going to be more difficult to find a little crack or a broken seal here or there. If you keep your roof and the sealant clean, it'll be much easier to get up here and spot sealant, which we're going to get to after we talk about the cleaning. In regards to what I'm going to use to clean it, I'm going to use Simple Green. I've done a lot of research on this and things like Murphy's Oil Soap or Gabe's Pride. Other various cleaners. I think Dicor actually makes a cleaner for the roof. Again, it's not rocket science, just a good cleaner that's not going to damage the roof. Since the roof is rubber, you definitely want to stay away from anything petroleum based. But again, check with your manufacturer and see what they recommend for cleaning. I checked with our buddy Todd, who is an RVIA Master Certified Tech, and he said Simple Green is fine. He said really any of those that I listed are fine, but we're going to use Simple Green for the simple fact that I already have some. So all you really need is whatever you're going to use for a cleaner. You need a brush, and you want the brush to be soft. You notice this is not super stiff. The reason being that when you're doing the cleaning, if you've got a really super stiff brush and you're grinding it in there, you can actually make the rubber roof separate from the structure underneath and make it loose and break that bond there. And you know that later on can lead to separation problems. Oh, and you want a bucket. The final thing I want to touch on before I start cleaning is pressure washers. I know people are going to ask about pressure washers, and I did a little research on that as well. Those are okay, but don't have them on super high pressure. Don't have them on like laser mode where it's going to bury into your TPO. And also I would stay away from the sealant areas with that. Just keep it on low pressure. I'm not going to use one. I don't feel it's necessary. All right, let's bring you guys up here to the front. And I'm only going to do half of the roof today because filming stuff makes things take 5 times as long, and I don't have much time. This Simple Green, the instructions are right on it, but it's basically heavy duty 1-to-1. We don't want that because I'm not going to go through that bunch of this stuff. General purpose 1-to-10 dilution and light cleaning 1-to-30. So I'm going to fill this thing about 1/10 full. Again, just eyeballing it. Doesn't have to be perfect. This isn't a chemical experiment. I feel like that's about 1/10 if I'm going to go not to the top on this. I think that will be a pretty good mix. Let's get over here and get to it. Oh no! One thing I forgot to do was push our new slide trays in because all this water dumped off like that. So luckily Tara's just a phone call away. Hey Siri, call Tara. Hey, can you come out to the driver's side for just a moment?
For what reason?
To push the slide tray back in.
Okay.
I'm up here holding our slide topper so it doesn't dump more water on top of it.
Okay, yep, I'll be right out.
All right, thanks. Maybe I can dump water on her. Yeah, do you see the top of the tub there?
Oh, yeah, let me.
Can you just swipe, oh yeah, just pick it up and tip it off. No, yeah, that way. There you go.
It's wet. wet underneath it too, but I'm gonna like, Chad!
I had to.
No. I'm just gonna leave it here then.
Push it in, please.
You want me to shut the door too?
Nah, that's not important.
Alright. Anything else?
That's it, thank you. Wow, you can really see quite a bit of difference. I hope the camera's picking this up. I can't really tell if it's showing up on the camera or not, but you may notice that there are pine needles all over the top of this roof. We were in Maine for about 6 weeks, and that's another issue that I'm gonna have to deal with that's not quite normal. And you can also see it on our slide toppers. Every little white spot there is tar. And you'll notice that some of these pine needles, here's a good example. This pine needle has been there for about 2,000 miles. This tar that is from these pine trees in Maine is just super gluey strong. So for those, I was hoping that the general cleaning would get most of it, and it appears to have done so. But you can see I've still got a few spots here and there with some tar. And I could leave those and it's not really going to hurt anything. But the big spots, I'm going to use a little bit of denatured alcohol to get those off. So let me go ahead and do that now. I've been using the denatured alcohol. I used this to clean the tar off of our rear awning. I haven't done the rest of the awnings yet. That's a whole separate thing because those are a pain. I'm going to try the mineral spirits as well and see if that works a little better. I always use a rag for stuff like this. Shoot, I didn't bring anything to open this thing up. It has this safety child-proof latch on it. Maybe I can use the corner of this. There we go. Might as well open this one while I'm here. Boom. No problem. This will be for the ceiling later. The blue rags or any kind of paper towels just fall apart, and this sap will be dissolved by this and basically soaked into this. So these are going to be ruined when I'm done with them. So that's okay. They're not super expensive. Get a little bit of denatured alcohol on there, and then let's see how it does. Comes right up. No problem. So I'm just going to get these big spots because I get up here to check stuff on T24 and then I come downstairs, die spider, and then track this tar everywhere on my shoes. Maine, we love you, but you can keep your pine sap. The denatured alcohol works really well. Let's try mineral spirits. All right, let's go back to the denatured alcohol side. Oh yeah. That was a very definitive test. The denatured alcohol works much better than the mineral spirits, so we'll set that aside. And I'm going to finish cleaning this half over here, get a little bit further back here, and then we can move on to ceiling stuff. Another note, I don't know if you can tell from just by watching this, but I'm not pushing real hard on this brush. I'm just letting it run across, and it seems to be doing a really good job. The instinct is just to brush really hard to do a good job. You don't want to brush real hard here, just kind of let it run across. I'm also going to scrub right over this sealant stuff here. That'll make it easier later when I want to come back, clean it a little bit more, and inspect it. This side is done, this side is not, and there's quite a bit of difference just in that little bit that I did. I'm going to wait and let that all dry before I go back and get those little spots of tar, because walking on the clean part with wet feet after walking on the dirty part just gets it dirty again. So let's jump to the sealant, which is really the main maintenance part of this. You can do this part without cleaning it if you want to skip it, or if you don't think it needs it, but this part you want to do at least monthly. This Dicor sealant that's up here is about 60% solids, which means the rest of it is pretty much water, and it shrinks over time. It's designed to do this, it just does. So it's perfectly normal, even on a new RV, to find sealant with little gaps in it here and there. So you want to keep an eye on those and inspect that for that and fill it. Just like with the cleaning products, you're going to want to check with your RV manufacturer to see what type of sealant is proper for your roof. Most of your EPDM and TPO roofs can use what's called Dicor, and I will have a link for that below. But if your manufacturer, like ours, Grand Design RV, has a specific sealant they recommend, for us, it's the Alpha sealant. By the way, these things are awesome for keeping your tubes of sealant, silicone, things like that, keeping them fresh. Seals them up, pokes a little hole on top. So the first step we're going to take is to just go and clean and inspect our sealant. And we'll see if we see any spots that need to be filled. I do this once a month at minimum. Typically, when I get up here for our T24 process, which is our day before departure, I will inspect all the sealant at least a little bit while I'm up here, but I do a good inspection every 30 days. I'm going to take some denatured alcohol, soak a rag in it, and I am just going to just wipe it. There's a leaf buried in there. I'm not too worried about it. Can't seem to get that out of there. And I want to clean this up because it'll be easier to see and inspect, but also because the new sealant that I put down will attach better to a clean surface. I'm going to try the mineral spirits on this too. It seems like I've done this before with mineral spirits and it was a little bit more effective. I think for cleaning this sealant here, mineral spirits is working a little bit better. And again, the idea here is just to expose, not to get it perfectly clean, but just to expose any gaps that we need to fill. Okay, here I found a little something. I don't know if you can see right here, we've got a little crack right through there. So I'm going to want to seal that, so clean that area pretty good there. Over here it's just kind of peeling up. Those are no big deal. It looks like something touched it while it was wet. Or something brushed it. Looks like I maybe hit a branch or something. So I'm going to clean it with the mineral spirits, then just use a dry section here and dry it off a little bit. I have a little bit of similar situation over here. This does not have to be perfect. It's self-leveling, which means it's going to just kind of level itself out. And I'm going to cover up these and these right there. I've got some similar spots over here. So as you can see, fill in those cracks with some Dicor or some lap sealant, whatever type you're using. It's easier than doing silicone because you don't have to smooth it or do anything. You just put it on the crack, it'll seal, it'll level. Obviously you want to do this on a dry day, you don't want to do it in the rain. So that's the bulk of it, just cleaning the roof, checking your sealant. But additionally, while I'm up here, I'm going to do a little bit of a bonus. A lot of times our max air vents start to stick. The seal around the edge and the part that pops up just goes and it'll stick, and I got to do it a couple times and it'll break loose. So I'm going to treat those seals just like I would our slide seals. I'm also going to take this opportunity while I'm up here to kind of clean the top of our max air vents. You'll notice that this style of vent, these max air vents, they come pre-made for this type of cover, and that all you have to do to remove these is pull these 4 pins, 2, 3, 4, and they pop right off. That's how easy they are to install also. Again, this is just if you have the max air units. But as you can see underneath here, it's quite filthy. So I'm gonna clean that up a bit. And I'm just gonna use some of my simple green solution here in the bucket. Hey Siri, call Tara. Actually, I will have her open it.
Yes.
Hello. Can you do me a favor and open up the vent in the front bathroom, but not to turn on the fan?
Yeah. But wait, open up the vent, but do not turn on the fan?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want me to stay on the phone?
Sure. Just good to chat with you.
Yeah.
Hello down there. Got quite a few spots over here that I need to reseal. Oh no, oh no, hey Tara. I touched the sensor with a wet rag and it thought it was rain and closed. Hey Tara, can you reopen it? Sorry, I touched the sensor. Okay, so I've got this cleaned up in here and around and the cover, and it's a good thing I took this cover off. It's been a long time since I've taken this cover off, and I can see quite a few places here that definitely are starting to crack where I need to fill in the sealant. And you can see like right here, definitely here and here, a couple other places along the edges. I'm going to go ahead, first I'm going to treat these rubber seals right here, and a good product for that is Pledge.
Pledge picks up fingerprints, smudges. See?
Mine doesn't look that good. Your Pledge looks better. Clean, natural beauty.
Just gonna spray some on here. And wipe it around my seals here. And this will give me a nice non-stick seal and stop that from binding. Now I'm going to hopefully close this by hitting this sensor here. This sensor is your water sensor that will automatically close this when it detects any kind of water on it. And now I'm going to seal these spots around here that are bad. Does not have to be neat. All back along here needs it. You can see obviously the areas that I resealed because it's brand new sealant on top of old sealant, but that is perfectly fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this back on. So that's it. Some simple green and a brush is really easy to clean this TPO. Probably EPDM also, but definitely the TPO. Whether you decide to clean your roof or not, get up here once a month, check the sealant around all of your items up here, make sure there aren't any cracks. Again, the Dicor it shrinks, it just does that. Also, you'll notice when I was looking and I was cleaning the sealant on ours, you'll see old sealant and then new sealant and then new sealant on top of that, and that's normal. And honestly, if you're ever inspecting an RV to see if it's been maintained and you don't see a little bit different color sealant, that's a pretty good indication that it's never been touched, especially if you see cracks in it. But you want to get up here and inspect that at least once a month. I do it all the time. I don't want our roof to leak, because a leaky roof can lead to a lot of bad things underneath the roof. Another thing that you might consider is to put some sort of UV protection on here. I thought about using the aerospace rubber protector that we have that's part of the Wash Waxall products. A lot of people also like 303. They make that in a condensed format too that you can put in a bucket and put down here. You could, of course, you could spray it. They do make products specifically for UV protection on this roof, and that's not a bad idea. That's just not something that I'm doing today. And that's it. We'll see you next time.